I'm Caitlin Ellis. Today I have a very special guest from Galt High School. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to see you, Caitlin.
Great to see you too. Can you please tell our viewers your name and a little bit about you?
Yes, I'm Tracie Cross, and I'm the employment specialist for the Transition Partnership Program in the Galt High School District. And we partner with the Department of Rehabilitation. We help students prepare for employment, college, vocational training, and we help them get on the path that they want to get on for their career. So while they're in high school, we work on steps, and then we help them transition into their next steps after high school.
And can you please tell our viewers next what inspired you to get into the specific industry?
Well, when I first started working for the Galt High School District, I was an instructional assistant in a very special classroom with students who were a little more at risk. And this was a new program coming up with the district, and the teacher that I worked for said, "You need to apply for this job," because while I was in the classroom, I was always looking for something more for the students, just to bring the world into the classroom and help them see what's out there for them. So it was just exactly what I wanted to do when they got the program here at the district. And so I applied and they hired me.
And actually, for any student that is interested in getting into this profession, what advice would you give? I'm sure, did you have any schooling you had to do? What were the steps you had to take?
Well, I do have my associate's degree, but experience was the most important. If someone really likes to network with employers, colleges, other programs, that's really important, because you really need to network on the outside of the district to make the connections with the students. And of course, you want to enjoy being with teenagers, which I love, and be excited about their future. So just having those network qualities, being social, wanting to help other people succeed, those would be some of the key things that someone would want.
And I know at the beginning of the pandemic, as well as now, some of the schools were shut down and we have all had to work different ways. How were you affected by the pandemic at the beginning as well as now?
Oh, at the beginning, right before, the day before our biggest event of the year, which is the College and Career Fair, which is here for our district, it was the day before that they shut down. So I had to get a hold of everybody, tell them, we have to cancel for tomorrow. And they were already, thinking we probably would, but it was disappointing that we would have to cancel that. So that was probably the biggest immediate thing. At the time I was out of town and visiting my daughter, and my husband was out of town. So we didn't have time to go to the store and get toilet paper and paper towels like everybody else. So those are the two big things we were affected by in the beginning. But we did okay. One thing the district had to do was to distribute laptops to our 2,000 students, and just as quickly as we could. So our district was faster than probably any other district that we know of. But in 2 weeks, we had those laptops out to all the students in our district and ready to go 2 weeks after it was shut down. So that, I think, might be a record. But we worked hard. The students came through, and we just handed them their laptops through the window, as they drove through. And so that was a big deal that we did. And the IT department was just awesome in that. So that was immediate. That was our immediate, the way it affected us.
That's amazing that you guys were able to collect those resources for the students as quickly as you did.
Yes, it was. They were awesome.
But in lieu of COVID-19, how have you continued forward with the shutdown? And now I believe, has Galt High School opened back up now?
Yes, this year we're open completely. So at first, of course, we were all on Zoom, doing our classes on Zoom, and everybody had to learn that at the same time. And for a year and a half, I worked from home, and and was on Zoom a lot. And the teachers probably had their hardest year and a half in the last, for that time. And the students returned to our district halfway through last year. We still have a few students out, but most students are back now. And we're no longer doing the teachers are no longer, Zooming at the same time as they're teaching a classroom full of students, which was really difficult for them last year.
I know I've heard from a few parents that I have interviewed that, it was always harder to, keep the attention, make sure you can upload everything and, but I think for as quickly as the shutdown happened, people were able to pull resources together pretty quickly. And it has seemed to, pretty much succeeded, but that's great that you guys have opened back up and you're able to continue forward.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us at this time?
One thing that we learned in this pandemic, one thing that, we tried to put it to our advantage, our students learned how to do online interviews, which, we hadn't practiced before. So we always hold mock interviews and they were able to see what it was like to do an online interview. And then I was able to invite people outside of California to take part in that. And
oh, wow.
So it was a great experience. It was a challenging experience, but it was all so good for all of us to learn that, because we've always done the mock interviews in person. So that was a great thing. I would just want to say, I guess, that it's an honor that you asked me to be here, and I'm so happy to see you again, Caitlin, after all this time. And I would say for employers, I would love to encourage employers to hire high school students and hire people with disabilities. That's the population that I work with, and to take a chance on our younger students. And get involved with our high schools, because they have work experience programs like we do, where we can place them for temporary positions to, for employers to kind of train them and teach them what it's like to be in the working world. So that's what I would want to say, is to, encourage employers to take on that population.
But I'm glad you had, were successful on this. And I hope you have a great 2021 and are able to continue forward. Hello, I'm Caitlin Ellis. Today we have a very special guest. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Can you please tell our audience your name and a little bit about you?
It's Tony the Tiger Lopez, and I'm a former 3-time world boxing champion that happened to get the movie making bug back in I don't remember what year. The first thing I was ever in, I was in Phenomenon as an extra.
What inspired you to get into boxing?
Actually, my dad did. I kind of inherited it. My dad did it. My brother did it. I inherited it.
And anybody looking to get into that profession, what advice would you give?
Be prepared. Not everybody's going to be a world champion. Not everybody's going to get that chance to even consider getting that chance. If you think you worked hard in the gym, walk in the next day and work harder.
And at the beginning of COVID-19, as well as now, how are you affected?
I have it now. I'm a plumber. And so, we don't know what happened, who we see or walk into, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm dealing with it. I'm okay.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing okay, especially because a lot of other people have different symptoms. So I'm glad to see you're still working and you're still going on. It's great to hear.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of like anything else. I think, we're all different. Everybody's different. It's going to affect some people a lot worse than others. It's out there. I've been down for 3 days now, I think. So, but I'm still dealing with it. I'm still here.
Well, I wish you a speedy recovery, and hopefully you have no long-term symptoms or anything like that.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. And my next question, can you please tell our viewers, in lieu of COVID-19, what are some of the things you've been working on? I know you've been very busy with shows and such.
Yeah, you know what? I just applied for a gangster sitcom that they're going to put out here real soon. well, they're gonna start filming for. Well, we actually did film for it, and we did a little gangster sitcom. I don't know what it's for. If it's for the internet, if it's for how there's so much TV now, who knows? So and I just got through doing uh Under the Palm. Just they just showed that in Vegas, and I do all kinds of movies here and there, and someone's always I forgot what bad memory, too many fights. Um, Someone told me, an actor once told me, to do any kind of thing you can get involved with in a movie, whether it be a small one, a big one, a medium one that you think that will never even come out. He goes, do them all. And he says, if you have the time, do as many as you can, because all you're doing, he goes, even for the smaller ones that may not ever go anywhere, you're getting experience. He goes, and you can't pay for that. And he goes, whether they pay you or not, do them. And so, I've been doing that for a long time. I've done a million movies, whether it be a semi-lead role or I haven't done anything extra. I was an extra in Phenomenon. Other than that, that was the only extra thing I ever did. And then, I do all kinds of parts. I played gangsters. I play an old guy fighting in a war from 1920 or something, whatever year that was. It's pretty neat. I like it.
What would you say has been your favorite project that you've been in?
You know what I really liked? I really liked the one I just did, and the one that's for it's for a TV. It's a gangster movie. I liked the part. It was not a lot of words. It was I was a gangster boss, but it fit my. I guess I don't know how to even say it. It fit my attitude. I guess I don't know. It fit my what I would like to do. I wasn't a mean guy or nothing like that. It was actually a pretty good role. I liked it. And I never played a gangster, so I liked it.
But with being, a boxer, a plumber, and all that, and then now acting, what would you say is the hardest part about that role?
Oh, you know what? That's the easiest thing in the world. You know why? Because my mom's been calling me a clown since I was a kid, so I'm always clowning around, and I can fake being mad, I can fake laugh, I can fake cry, I can fake it all, and but I like doing it. I can act real mad, I can act real happy. I can't cry though. For some reason I can't. That's hard for me to do. Um, but it's just I like it because there's so many different roles you can play, and then I don't know. It's just sometimes it's hard to get into their head thinking for that role, and sometimes it's fairly easy, and but I like it. I enjoy it.
At this time, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience? I know you've done a couple projects with Anthony Snow. Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, Anthony's me and Anthony's have done a couple things, and we because we're he lives we don't live too far apart, and I like the roles we played. I get a lot of lessons from Anthony. I ask him a lot of questions, gives me a lot of answers. And it's good to watch. If you want to learn how to box, ask me or hang around me. You're going to learn something.
Mhm.
So if you learn, if you hang around people that know what they're doing when it comes to acting, because remember, I'm a newbie, and so if I want to learn more, hang around people that do it for a living. So I have just had this thought in my head of doing where are they at now for fighters. You hear about basketball players, football players, baseball players, but you never really hear what happens to the fighters.
Mhm.
But I want to do a true one, a really true story. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Now there are some fighters that are so ugly, and you'd be surprised. But there are some fighters that became world champions, and even they're not doing too well, and you're going, but no one ever hears about it. there are some fighters that can't say 2 words, but no one ever hears about it. There's some fighters that had a lot less fights than me, and they can't say 1 word. And you're going, how's that possible? And so I want it to be a really true, not a sad thing. It's not for sympathy. It's not for that. But I want it to be a true story. I want the ones that made it big, the ones that just made it, the ones that did okay, even the ones that didn't do too much at all or blew it all, whatever. You know what I mean? Because you never know. I mean, no one ever hears about what happens to fighters after their final belt. Uh, and I think that's really, really interesting. Fighters fighters don't come from a golden spoon. You know what I mean? They come from the ghettos, most of them, if not mass majority of them. I'm not saying every single last one of them, but mass majority of them come from the ghettos, and they learn to fight their way through it out of the ghetto, and that's what they're doing. And so sometimes, them bad habits they have, and I'm talking about habits of drugs or nothing like that. I'm talking about bad habits of, not really knowing what to do with money, and that's not even a bad habit. That's just an education, you know. So I wanted to show people what was really going on. I think it would be really, really interesting. I just thought it would be an interesting little thing to do.
And you just mentioned you're working on 2 different projects that are similar. What is the second one?
Well, the second one's kind of real. No, the second one I thought we were talking about was there's a company going out, and they're doing brain scans of all combat sports, whether it be football, MMA, boxing, whatever. If you've been hockey, where you get hit in the head a lot, they were just doing a little study for like a few years. I've been doing it for 7 years. Went to Vegas to have it done, and the doctors don't know why I'm so intact. That's funny, but they say I'm pretty much intact.
That's wonderful to hear, especially with all the different cases. People like you just said, they can barely talk, or just like you, as many years if you've been boxing, you're totally fine. So I think it's a very inspirational to show, for people that with as many times you've been hit in the head and such, from boxing, that you're still able to act. You're still able to, go out and do everything you wish to do. So that's great.
Yeah, right. I mean, I should thank my lucky stars, right?
Mm. But if anybody wants to inquire more about you, where can they find you?
I'm everywhere. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what. I don't know of any other world champion doing this, but I've been giving free boxing lessons on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's honestly how I would train a real fighter. Like I train fighters all the time, and this is how I train fighters. And they have options if they live in Sacramento, they have an option to join a gym and come down and be part of the group, or they can do it at home. It's online. They can do it anywhere they want. But it's called Boxing Basics, Tony the Tiger Lopez. It's on YouTube, and we do it every Monday. Monday nights we do a little sit down talk. Tuesday we go to the gym and we give the instruction on what to do that week. We got like about, I don't know, 12, 14, 15 days in already, classes done. Wow. So we've just been waiting for, that's starting to build. So that's pretty good. That's starting to build up now.
That's great to hear, especially with the younger youth, or just anybody. That it's great exercise, and it's a sport you get to learn as well. So that's great that you hear it's successful, and I hope you have a great 2021. With all that and all the other projects you're working on.
Thank you very much.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been an honor to have you on. Hello, I'm Caitlin Ellis, and today I have a very special guest. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Yes, my name is Jas Leverette. I own California Canine Solutions, aka Cali Canine. and we're a dog training company that specializes in socialization and behavior modification for all breeds. We also deal with all dogs, puppy training, just overall, regular obedience training. We're based in San Jose and in the North Hollywood area.
And can you please tell us next, what inspired you to get into this industry?
I was pretty much just looking to enjoy what I did for a living. And at the time, it was a hobby, dog training for my shepherds. And I was always into dogs and working dogs. So I got into protection dog sports and got into high caliber obedience, and basically just saw that there was a demand for dog behavior specialists in the world. And I decided to just make that my career path. So I've been doing it now for over 12 years.
Oh, wow. And actually, anybody looking to get into this industry, what advice would you give?
I had several mentors. I trained with different other trainers who had a background of dealing with the breeds and dogs that I was interested in. And from there, it just kind of like snowballed into being around a lot of different high caliber trainers, and was able to, put my own twist on things. And, some people go to school for it. They have schools and education institutes. I didn't go to school, but I did learn from some of the top dog trainers of the world.
And actually, how were you affected by COVID-19?
COVID-19, well, right when it happened, I remember making a post on April 1st saying like, what we're going to do, sending people home, we're going to be able to pay my rent. So I took some of the funding and I actually purchased a piece of land that had some buildings on it. And I was going to have to downsize into not having a commercial place because of all of the social distancing and all of the indoor restrictions. But fortunately, dog training is essential. Dog boarding is essential. We got a lot of essential workers who needed to have services, and we were able to keep our doors open. So we just did it safely, outdoors and socially distant. And I was able to retain all my employees. And of course, we didn't make as much money as we normally would, but we were able to survive. And it was definitely a huge impact on our day-to-day operations. But I'm glad that it's kind of calming down and we can kind of getting back to normal.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers at this time?
Any kind of obstacles, you can get through them. You just have to keep going.
And in lieu of COVID-19, what are some of the other things you have been working on?
Well, I opened up another facility because I had a show that came out on Netflix called Canine Intervention. So I was a host and executive producer of that show that was on Netflix. February 24th is when it aired. So I've been pretty much just working on expanding my business down to the Southern California area and pretty much worldwide with our online training system. And we've been pretty much just trying to, grow and develop as a company, as a brand.
If anybody would like to find out more about you, where can they find you?
You can reach us at calicanine.com. You can also follow my social handles, TikToks, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. It's all Cali Canine. And that's CALI, the letter K, the number 9. Or just Google us, but we have lots of stuff out there to, watch, and a lot of videos out there to learn from. So a lot of good information out there.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to see what you work on in the future. Your show is doing great, and I want to thank you again. I'm Caitlin Ellis.